Okie dokie, boys and girls, that was the warm-up set for day 276 of bulking to 75 kilos, and we have a pull day, of course, otherwise I wouldn't be doing front lever, but today it's the first time in a while that I'm doing my strength training fasted. Now, I think it's like an often asked question of like if fasting is actually, or training fasted is actually good or not. And in my opinion, it's entirely what you're used to. Because if you're not used to training fasted, and then suddenly you're gonna give it a go, you're gonna feel weak as hell. But for me, I'm used to it. I've been running for more than 500 days in a row. Every time, or almost every time, it's in the morning without having any food. So I'm used to, just going at a decent pace without any food in my system. And before that even started, before the running started, when I went to college, when I went to high school, for me, oftentimes the best time to train was in the morning, because I had to go to school or something, right? And then I wouldn't have any food before. So for me, I'm used to it. I don't notice any difference, compared to when I'm fasted or when I actually have food in my system. In fact, when I have eaten before, I oftentimes feel heavier. But if like I said, if you're just getting into it, you will feel weaker, I believe. And one of the advantages that people often mention when talking about fasted training is, oh, if you do fasted cardio, if you do fasted training, you're gonna burn fats instead of carbs, and it's good for weight loss. But I think that's fucking bullshit. So when you are training and you have carbs in your system you've eaten before, your body might burn more carbs than it will burn fat, but it doesn't matter because whether it burns carbs or it burns fat, it's going to burn the same amount of calories. It needs the same amount of energy for the training that you're doing. So afterwards, when you replenish your calories, right? You're going to eat some food. You're going to replenish them. If you replenish them with the same amount of calories that you usually would, you're taking some fat, you're taking some carbs, your body will handle the rest. It's not like if you only eat carbs and zero fat that you're going to lose weight or something. Or it's not if you only do fast stuff that suddenly all of your fat is going to diminish. No, because your body can also turn carbs into reserves. It can, take carbs and turn them into fat. Your body is a machine that is designed to basically store any amount of excess energy that we have in our system. So if it happens to be carbs, it's going to be able to store it, right? And that's why, I got a question yesterday, like asking me how I eat so much fat. Like I eat like 200 grams of fat in a day. How I eat so much fat and still stay lean. And it's exactly because of that concept. The concept of calories in, calories out. So whether diet-wise, whether you train fasted in the morning or you have some food and you train in the evening, you're burning the same amount of calories. It's not going to matter as long as you are eating appropriately. So if you want to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. If you want to gain weight, you need to be in a calorie surplus. And that's all that matters. For me, training fasted or not is nothing more than a choice of convenience, whatever fits the schedule. And that's how I look at it. So let's get started with some front lever. Today is going to be a front lever hold and press workout, just to keep the basics strong. Because last time I noticed they were weak, like fresh. I could only do 30 seconds of front lever. So today I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do a couple sets, longer sets, 45 seconds to 30 seconds of front lever, drop set it with like lower progressions. I'm going to try and aim for like 3 to 4 sets and basically, try and do better than last time. So last time I got like 30 seconds on the first hold. Today, if I can get like 32 to 35, that would be great already. But yeah, in that sense, I want to progress today. So let's go. Alright, that's one set of 45 seconds. Got to about 35 seconds of full front lever hold, which is, it's acceptable, you know. Getting to 40 would be better, but anyway, I'm gonna set a timer to do one set every 4 minutes. The first time I'm resting, this is my heaviest set. I'll be resting for 4 minutes, but after that, I'll be doing a set every 3 minutes. So it's just doing the set and using the remainder of the time for rest basically. But in these coming sets as well, I'll do a full front lever hold and then drop down to easier progressions to get to sets of, I don't know, I'll see how I feel, at least 30 seconds, but maybe 35, 30 or 35, 40 or 45 if I'm feeling well. I'm hoping to get 4 sets in total of this. And you know, if you do this kind of training where you do the hold, the progression you're aiming for or training with for a couple seconds, and then you drop down to an easier progression, I think it's really good for endurance. So maybe you can try and use it. Alright, that's a set of 35 seconds. Maybe there's a bit of a pattern here. Last time I got 30 seconds of front lever and I was doing, well, basically sets of 30 seconds afterwards. Now I got 35. I think I'm gonna do sets of 35 afterwards. So let's go. Oh fuck! Holy shit! This is one way to burn out your lats. Holy moly, guacamole. Yeah, I'm fucking dead. I'm gonna take a quick rest and move on to a different exercise, but some dynamic stuff, but this is just insane. Alright, so I'm doing some dynamic sets here. If you want to train for a stronger hold, you know, it's important to do the statics themselves, but also to do some dynamics, because these dynamics, they will allow you to build strength under different angles, you know, they will pump up the muscles, and it's all in all just a good mix-up to get stronger into the statics as well. So dynamics will translate into the statics as long as you're doing some statics as well. So I mentioned in the previous workout about 30-70 as a ratio, 30% statics, 70% dynamics. Today's workout, it's a bit more static focused, but in the next one, you know, it will be pull-ups, it's going to be more dynamic focused. And all in all, I think if you count everything up, I haven't really calculated it, but it's going to be about 30% statics, 70% dynamics or something like that. So yeah, I'm going to do a couple more sets of this. I'm still tired from the holds, but you know, I start off with a lighter set, kind of easing into the presses, and then the last set will be the heaviest or the most difficult, because then I'm already rested from the holds a bit more. So let's go. I think 3 sets or something in total. What the fuck? Okay, so my back is absolutely fucking destroyed. It's insane. If you haven't tried those hold sets that I did in the beginning, give them a go, you know, because doing the front lever hold in your preferred progression, right? Like 1 to 2 seconds before your actual max, and then moving on to an easier progression and just still holding on, right? It will give you an insane pump, but it will also get you insanely strong. It will destroy your back. It will make it insanely tired, which is what I'm experiencing right now. So I'm gonna do one more set of pull-ups. Normally I would do it weighted, but today I'm gonna leave the weights on the floor where they are, and I'm just gonna do bodyweight pull-ups because at the moment my main points that I want to improve are my chest. I want to get my chest stronger, and I want to get my legs stronger. So the back, while I do train the back still because I don't want a weak back, I'm not gonna go all the way balls to the wall in the accessory exercises like I sometimes do for chest. So for example, yesterday I did planche and I did dips and I did push-ups. It was quite a heavy workout. It took quite a long time, but for these back workouts, I focus on the main stuff, on the main workouts, my main exercise at frontlever, and then if I have energy, I do the accessories kind of in that way. So today I'll be doing bodyweight pull-ups to get a bit of a stimulus on the normal pull-up. Once you're strong at the frontlever, it doesn't take a lot to get strong at the normal pull-up, of course. But some bodyweight stuff here, and I don't know, it's just bodyweight. Let's aim for 30 reps or something. We'll see. Oh, that's more than I expected. Whew, holy shit. That's it for today's workout, Fasted workout, didn't have any food before. But if you're used to it, that's okay, I would say, look at your own schedule, What schedule is the most handy? If you're like, oh, it would be nice to work out in the morning because then I have the night free. However, I don't want to get up too early, to have breakfast and then still train, You don't have to wake up early to have breakfast first if you're used to training fasted. And then, your schedule becomes very flexible. So if you're struggling to make workouts fit in your schedule, I would say just get used to it, You'll get used to it in, I don't know how long, because for me it's been such a long time, but, not more than a couple of months. I think the first 2 weeks will be the hardest. After that, it will go a bit better, maybe not 100% yet, but eventually, in those first 2 weeks, you'll get to like 80 to 90% of your usual capacity, I believe. That's like my guess. And then afterwards, before you know it, you'll be at 100% again. So, yeah, I don't use fasted training for like the benefits of diet, which I don't think exists anyway. I don't do it for health. I just do it because it's easy to fit the schedule. So yeah, that's it for today's training. Holy shit, that was an insane pull-up set. Let's do one more flex here. And now I'll have some breakfast. I'll see you tomorrow for leg day.